Wait, what? Boomie was yelling stop. I'm not sure what he was yelling stop for, but either way, we're going to go into game
This
one.
game doesn't count because I'm pretty sure Boomie doesn't.
Wait, what?
I don't know. I think what happened was Stevenator started the thing.
Wait, Boomie's just immediately going into it.
Right into it.
Never mind. I guess he didn't want to play, but he just angrily stomps on Stevenator's head, and we're going straight into it. Both players playing Bodvar. It's interesting to see Stevenator using the default skin, especially in Brown. I'm not quite sure whether it's working out, but Boomie is actually getting destroyed by Stevenator's sword right now. Dive kicks low and actually gets Stevenator off the stage with a dive kick of his own. He gets back into the stage with recovery, and both players are kind of duking it out right now.
Boomie is coming out on top very heavily though, but Stevenator
wow!
the triple downlight recovery, almost killing off the top, but not quite. But that brings back the damage lead entirely.
Boomie,
and Stevenator finds the side light.
Yeah, Boomie goes for a raw side sig, but actually gets hit by that downlight, and Boomie dodges under the stage, can't make it back, and Stevenator makes an incredible comeback. Not comeback, but just an execution on Boomie's stock. As Boomie loses the first stock in this match. Tries to land him with an unarmed combo. Stevenator gets a neutral light, but Boomie is able to return with a neutral light of his own. Two side sigs being thrown at Stevenator, punishing Boomie aptly, and Boomie's just spamming side sig after side sig here. Recovers low? He does. Stevenator doesn't get the ground pound. Stevenator, well, Boomie is just kind of throwing out sigs at this point. The tilt may have already settled in.
Stevenator is playing out of his mind right now. Boomie doesn't even know how to react.
I think Boomie's going to react with just signature spam. Yeah, he's just walking around, throwing it. So I have some personal experience with Boomie, and he is a very, I don't know if I would even call it emotional player, but there are times where when he doesn't play a set correctly, he'll do things like that.
Okay. Yeah.
And he'll definitely take his own stock. Stevenator also taking? No, he does. I'm not quite sure what's going on. See, this is interesting.
Honestly, they're probably trolling.
I'm trying to figure out. This is kind of hard to. This is kind of hard to cast.
They're either trolling or one of them's lagging. Probably Boomie. I don't know. Weird stuff. You can tell that Stevenator was tabbing open his Steam overlay, and see Boomie just did it there too. So they're communicating with each other in Steam right now.
I mean, I think Boomie had an issue with the stop. I'm not quite sure what's going on. Neutral lights are coming out, and Boomie holding onto the sword. Both players are just staring each other down.
This is the most tense match of Brawlhalla.
Bugsy's saying this is what happens when the two most emo players fight tourney. And by that he means, like, okay, if there are two players that I've seen and their stocks more often by themselves just out of anger than anybody else, Stevenator, specifically against EXO, oftentimes finds himself suiciding off the edge. Boomie, I've seen give up multiple matches in the Invitational the last time he played. It was against Antipop. He stopped playing. I
think they're cosplaying as.
I don't know what's going on, but this definitely.
I don't want to call someone.
This is a winners quarters match. That they're just not. I don't understand.
All right, I'm a Steam message Boomie.
I have him on. All right, he gives a thumbs up and they're ready to go in. Not quite sure what was happening. It must have been a lag issue, and they're ready to fight. Weapon toss comes out, and I guess we just go back into it. Boomie tries to go for an air. Stevenator made this unusually even for Boomie, giving up that stock as early as he did.
Yeah, he was doing really good, but I don't think it's going to matter. It looks like he's still just sort of destroying Boomie anyways.
Yeah, Boomie gets him with the side air, however. Stomp comes in from the hammer, tosses into his face. Stevenator goes in for the side swing, and it's interrupted by a weapon toss, but a D-Light Cider will send Boomie deeper into the red. Boomie finds himself below the stage, goes to the recovery. Nair follows up into a recovery himself, and Boomie actually gets a lot more damage back. Weapon toss? No. Doesn't interrupt the Cider, and Stevenator is looking to end the stock quite quickly. Boomie makes it back over ground pound, puts Stevenator in a bad position, and the side stick comes out.
So, yeah, this is actually really close again. Stevenator got a lot of the early damage, but hasn't found a kill, and Boomie just found a few things, but the sidelight Sair from Stevenator on hammer will finish it off.
Down that Sair.
Stevenator does take game one, as he probably deserved anyways. It shouldn't have been so close.
Indeed. Lag coming out from
I have no idea what was
They're both saying GG, not explaining a single thing, and hopefully we'll be going on in the game too. I'm going to ask them, everything okay? That's it.
Dude, like I said, it's very possible they were both just trolling. It wouldn't be out of character for them.
Boomie is like 3-barring.
Okay, so Boomie is lagging.
He wants to redo. I want to redo.
Because Stevenator knows he's dominating Boomie no matter what's happening. At least that's probably what's going through his mind.
Well, no, I don't actually think that's how Stevenator thinks. I remember I had an interview with Stevenator back in the day when GCS014, and he came back and he said on stream, because there was certain cases where he would pick different legends depending on certain players that he was fighting against, and he explained it. He didn't pick it because he thought he was that confident in beating them. He says that he picks it because he thinks that's the best legend that he has to play against that person or that legend. And when he says that he wants to give Boomie back that match, regardless of his confidence and how he can play it, I really think he just feels bad for Boomie and wants to give him another shot. Being a very emotional player, he also feels a lot for his opponents as well. So, unfortunately, he takes it 1-0. Boomie says, screw that, you won officially. I want you to have that. And they move on to the next match to an Asuri.
He's actually going to be playing Asuri versus Boomie, who's also playing Asuri. So Asuri versus Asuri. I was just talking about how there's not enough Asuri players for their Qatar games, but we're probably going to see a majority of just nice sword players.
Stevenator is being really consistent on getting these double D-lights on Boomie. Not being able to get the triple because it's not Mammoth, but Stevenator goes in with the Qatars. Boomie playing with the sword, and a side stick comes out immediately from the Qatars.
Good nair from Stevenator to make his return to the stage easier. Stevenator is losing slightly in damage, and that neutral sig will kill him.
Neutral sig actually picks him up and tosses him off the stage. Boomie takes a quick KO over Stevenator's Asuri. Stevenator picks up the spike ball and gets hit by a downer from Boomie. Boomie's just going in with the Qatars, being able to use this weapon in whatever fashion he seems necessary. Sidelight, neutral light comes out. Stevenator tries to follow up with a recovery, but Boomie dodges out of all that damage and actually punishes Stevenator for going for an N-sig.
Both players whipping N-sigs, but it's looking like Boomie is getting a way better deal out of these trades. Stevenator is not finding the KO on Boomie, and he's already getting put into orange for himself. Steve looking for that nair kill off of a dare, but doesn't quite connect. He's gonna have to find a kill, and he's gonna have to find it fast.
Ooh, boom.
Ooh, that dare will do
that downer, no, actually makes it back. Gets the recovery. Boomie being great about saving on his jumps. Probably saw the dare coming in, but the dare would have definitely killed if it hit into the bomb, but Stevenator didn't think that far ahead, and Boomie going for some D-lights now. Gets that down stick out. Stevenator still not punishing. Boomie's looking to take another stock off of Stevenator here. Stevenator flubbed the ability to end the Boomie stock here. Boomie is running with it.
That neutral sig doesn't throw off stage, so it doesn't kill, but the nair...
Wow, Boomie puts himself in a position to nair Stevenator off the top, and Stevenator being brought back in at one stock left is looking like he's going to get the recovery. It was looking like he was going to take his own stock there, and I was very worried. Stevenator has the sword now. 2-1, Boomie a solid stock ahead, but both players playing Asuri means that they got the ability to get a string into... Oh, wow, crazy instinct coming out from Asuri. Side stick as well from the Qatars, putting Stevenator into the orange. Neutral light comes out. Stevenator is trying to bring it back with the Qatars himself. Boomie doing a lot of damage to Steve right now.
Steve's going for a lot of these like up throw combos into stuff, and they just haven't really worked out at all game. And he ends up just getting disarmed.
Boomie
definitely not helping his
Boomie goes for a hard charged instinct there, but Stevenator is able to punish it, only to lead Boomie into a cider that puts Stevenator into the red. Actually jumps into Stevenator's own N-sig, and that's the stock. N-sig in the cider, swats Boomie off the stage, and Stevenator brings it back 1-1. Actually gets hit by a sidelight as his weapon's tossed, dodges through the ball that Boomie tosses off stage. Boomie goes in for that side sig, and honestly, it's looking like a match that Stevenator can actually take back, but a cider comes in, takes the words out of my mouth, and 1-1.
Gets a little bit of stringage to start it off, but Boomie's just like, no, stop it, and he slaps him away off the map.
So Stevenator,
that's 1-1 series.
Definitely not feeling the Asuri ditto. Boomie a little bit more comfortable with Asuri than Stevenator assumingly is, and goes back to the Bodvar to be able to play with the sword and be able to use that hammer. The hammer is definitely what he's been favoring so far from the matches that we've seen with him. So it'd be cool to see whether or not he can use it against Boomie's Qatars. We're moving into game 3.
We're headed to Mammoth Fortress. Alright. So, Stevenator is 100% more comfortable on Bodvar. He's been playing Bodvar for like over a year now. He's just a straight up Bodvar main, right?
Essentially, yeah. Boomie could arguably be called the same thing, though. Although Boomie's messed with a lot more legends than Stevenator.
He's played a lot of Roland. I don't even know if I would consider him a Bodvar main.
And your cider comes out from Stevenator, tosses the weapon to another sideline. Stevenator's just getting a crazy hammer string off right now, but Boomie returns with his own. Nair hits Boomie, sends him into the orange, but both players are trading rather evenly. Stop into side sig. That will definitely do quite a bit to Boomie's Asuri. And Stevenator actually GC's past the Valkyrie to avoid the hitbox. Ooh, dodges past Boomie's attempt to approach the
No,
down.
that was his Valkyrie. He was trying to hit the neutral sig after Boomie got hit into the Valkyrie.
Oh, I see. That would have been
He was
really
doing
creative.
the thing that we saw Jellyfish.
Jellyfish and
do last-
Scrub really like to go for those kind of things. And Boomie gets that sider into weapon toss, pushes Stevenator into the orange, but a nair will punish
Nair to
Boomie for
finish
going
it
for a
off.
dare. That dare was very risky. Trying to read Stevenator for going for a jump, and Stevenator knew exactly what Boomie was trying to do. Takes the stock.
That bomb was spooky, but Stevenator dodges past both that and the Karaki. But the sider, very well placed from Boomie. Can he finish it off? He doesn't need to.
Nope, Stevenator out of
Steve
jumps.
doesn't have a dodge.
Dive kicks away underneath Mammoth Fortress, loses his stock, and it's evened up 1-1. Boomie has the guitars now, going in for that dive down air into neutral air, putting a decent amount of damage on the Steve, and Steve's forced on the side of the stage, and that's not a good place that you want to be against guitars. Gets in there, gets back to center, but Boomie's doing a great job with these guitars. He's getting more damage on the Steve, and Steve is on the him. Sidelight comes out, no sider follow-up. Boomie gets hit by the weapon.
You can tell Steve is really focusing now, but it's not working because Boomie is just playing so good. He finds the down air, but the recovery carries him very high.
Stomp comes in from Stevenator, weapon toss as well. Lands with the nair. Boomie gets hit in the face, and the spike ball bounces off the ground. Stevenator doing his best to be able to get as much damage on the Boomie as possible. Boomie tries to go in for a side air. Stairs coming out from Steve himself, and a neutral sig. Excellent chase dodge neutral sig.
Chase dodge neutral sig.
That was such a fantastic option to be able to punish Stevenator for going back, and he actually tosses him off the stage and takes a solid lead. Boomie not even in the red. Spike ball comes out, GC downlight, but Stevenator hasn't got a weapon spawning in his favor, and Boomie is completely destroying him with the guitars here.
That was just such a hard read. That was so good from Boomie. That like might be what decides this game. Stevenator needs to find this kill before he starts getting smacked around by these guitars like this.
Neutral light comes in, down air to follow up into a neutral light. Boomie finds himself below the stage, dodges through the ground pound from Stevenator. Stevenator just tosses his sword away. Boomie recovers underneath Mammoth Fortress, gets that side light into recovery, but Steve tries to go in for a scoop, but he's not getting this kill. Scoop comes in, but that's not going to kill, not yet. Stevenator holds onto the hammer, doesn't get anything else.
The Nair finally kills, but Steve's already in the early orange. Boomie doesn't need to put too much more damage on until Stevenator's in kill percent, whereas Steve has a full fresh stock versus Boomie he has to deal with.
Boomie gets that neutral light as he lands into a sidelight. Stevenator put into the orange. Stevenator still doesn't find any damage. Ooh, gets actually D-light down aired for picking up that weapon. Stevenator can't find a string himself. Weapon toss and unarmed, however, puts a little bit damage on the Boomie's Asuri, but Asuri is ready to take him into the red in just a little bit. Cider comes out. Boomie tries to go for that recovery read, and Stevenator punishes, but the downer comes out. Boomie is ready to take it out, goes for that down sig. Stevenator waits it out, punishes it. Boomie tries to go in for a dodge inwards, and Stevenator is ready to punch with the weapon toss. He's playing rather controlled and gets the scoop, actually. Stevenator goes for the nair. This is looking like both players' games. There's a nair.
Kill percent now.
Boomie does not have a weapon. Actually, Stevenator flubs that read, gets that stomp in the wrong direction, but still, Boomie's in the red. Weapon toss comes out to a scoop.
Oh, the weapon throw downwards into a pick up down air to finish off Boomie.
Wow.